Hello friends and fellow VEDSies, it is September 11th, and every year when I'm doing VEDS, I try to take this day to recognize the events from now 14 years ago, and sometimes I do it in song, sometimes I talk, and today I thought I would do a 5-Minute Friday again, and then just talk for 5 minutes about September 11th, and I was trying to figure out how I wanted to approach this today, because it seems like after 14 years, we've pretty much approached this at about every angle that we possibly can. There's not much new to say about it, and as a result, it's hard to find something to say about it, and people don't say something about it. It occurred to me, I was thinking about back in like 2002, 2003, back when the anniversaries were recent and the memories were still very fresh. And I was just remembering that we really took the time to like recognize it, and we really made a big thing about it. It's been a year, it's been 2 years, and so on. But recently, it hasn't been that way. Like, we'll still mark the occasion, we'll still say this happened, but for the most part, we've moved on. We've moved on with our daily lives. We've moved on. We've healed, as you know, as after 14 years you would expect. And we don't talk about it quite as much. I apologize, there's going to be a dog eating in the background. And that's true of anniversaries in general, I think. Just anniversary of anything, birthdays, you know, the first few are always exciting and you recognize them, and you think about the memories that are still very fresh. And then as time goes on, you still recognize the anniversaries, but you make a bigger deal out of like the milestones, like the 25th or the 30th or the 40th and that sort of thing. You make a bigger deal out of those. Like, I turned 30 last year and that was a big deal. I'm turning 31 this year and it's not nearly as big of a deal. And I mean, I think that's one reason why we don't talk about it as much, but I also think with any event like this, the further away you get from it, the less you're going to hear people talking about it, and that's, over time, that's going to be true because less and less people are going to have actual memories of the event. And we're even starting to see that a little bit now, even though it's only been 14 years. I was just thinking about this, some of my coworkers who I'm working with at the grocery store where I'm working, you know, they're college students, they're high school students, and a lot of them were either very, very young when it happened, or in some cases not even born yet. Like we're getting kids coming into high school now who were not born yet or were infants when September 11th happened. And so as far as they're concerned, it's not part of their personal history like it is for those of us who are older. It's just part of general history. It's just a thing that happened in history. It just happens to be close to the time when they were born. And you see that with things like Pearl Harbor, you see that with things like the Kennedy assassination. As we get further and further away, less and less people have actual memories of it where they can say, this is where I was when it happened, this is how I reacted, this is what was going on in my life. But I do think it's important to listen to those people who do have actual memories of that, especially when we get, more and more people who actually lived through World War II and remember World War II are dying, and any historian will tell you it's very, very important to sit and listen to what they have to say about that time period, because pretty soon that entire generation is going to be lost to us. And I think it's also important with something as recent as September 11th, so I think we should recognize it and keep talking about it, and that's why, as long as I'm doing VEDS anyway, I'm always going to take this day and recognize September 11th in some fashion. Even if I don't talk about my memories or in great detail about it, I am still going to recognize it, and I still am going to just find a way to remember, because I think it is important, even though, you know, I kind of cringe at these I kind of cringe at these, you know, trite little sayings for big important events, but never forget. And I think that is important. So I'm nearing the end of my time now, and so hopefully this rambling made some sort of sense. And until next time, friends and fellow VEDSies, see you tomorrow.